Natalie, thank you. The lawyer for George Zimmerman, the man who killed Florida teen Trayvon Martin, has released a video of a police interview where Zimmerman walks through the crime scene. Take a look.
I felt his arm going down to my side, and I grabbed it, and I just grabbed my firearm, and I shot him one time.
It is the most detailed account the public has seen about what led to that February shooting. Zimmerman claims he shot Martin in self-defense after being punched and having his head slammed into the ground. Martin's family says the teen had no history of violence and was actually targeted because of his race.
Attorney and jury consultant Mary Griffitts back with us to talk about the Zimmerman case and the release of these police interviews. I think a couple things are interesting. I don't know the impact, but you can see that Zimmerman's nose is busted up, bandages on the back of the head through some of this. But in general, he's had bad press all along. None of it has been good. And then he and his wife are conspiring to hide this money. It's just been bad. Does this help?
I think that this definitely helps. I mean, pretrial publicity has been around forever. This time, this is coming from the defense camp, and they are trying to recreate what occurred. There's only two people who know what happened, and unfortunately, one is deceased. Here we have Zimmerman, who looks calm. He seemed factual. He seemed even a little bit compassionate in the way he was describing things. This will give jurors, or at least the court of potential jurors, or the court of public opinion, his viewpoint on what occurred.
Let's look at some more of this. Now, we should say there's several clips. We're not going to get through them all, but you see him out on the scene, like the next day. You see him in an interview room. They released everything. You see some in patrol car interviews, excuse me. So there's all kinds, it's all been released. The first one we're going to see is when he's out on the scene describing how the shooting actually happened.
That's when my jacket had moved up, and I had my firearm on my right side hip. My jacket moved up, and he saw it. I feel like he saw it. He looked at it, and he said, "You're gonna die tonight, mother." And he reached for it, but he reached, like, I felt his arm going down to my side, and I grabbed it, and I just grabbed my firearm, and I shot him one time.
And so, you know, potential jurors may be seeing that and making decisions, and the court of public opinion sure is too. But I want to know about releasing. Is this okay for the defense to do this? You know, I mean, how did they get their hands on these tapes? Like maybe Discovery, but is it okay to put it out there?
This is the first time, and this is why this case is so interesting, is that the defense has done a couple of things. They have their own website, they have their own blog, and they have their own Facebook page. And they are utilizing social media to get their side of the story out. And it's important because they have control over their side of the story. Not only on the website is it asking for donations, but it's putting out the pleadings, things that are in the public domain, putting that information out. And this video is part of that. So they're trying to get their story, their public story, before they even get to opening statements, what their story is going to be, or if it needs to change from what people react to from the video.
Oh, really? So like a focus group or something?
Absolutely.
Or what you do, right?
Absolutely.
Interview jurors and get a pre-trial read on how jurors react to things.
Absolutely. This is the social media. There's no, we can't avoid it right now. Now we need to know how to utilize it. It's like the water cooler of the 21st century.
But that's okay. Releasing this there's nothing, I mean, if the judge didn't say you can't, I guess it's all okay.
The judge may say they can't use it for trial. He may say, no, it's hearsay. But it's already out there. Okay. So whether or not some jurors have seen it, whether or not that visual will remain with them, that's a different story.
Okay, let's look at, this is a piece taken in the back of a patrol car, kind of when he's out that night and talking about how it happened or what happened.
And what was he was walking in between the buildings, or?
He was walking like in the grassy area, like up towards, kind of between these two poles, and like I said, it was rainy, and he was just leisurely looking at the house.
Okay.
I kept driving. I passed him, and he kept staring at me and staring around, looking around.
Anything jump out? Talked about driving past. Is that important? He didn't get after it right there. He drove past and maybe, you know, came back around. I don't know. What's important?
The biggest thing about this is that, of course, Zimmerman's credibility has just been at issue and shot completely. What this video was trying to answer is the question that a lot of people were thinking to themselves. Why the heck did he get out of the car? What got your attention? Why did you were talking to the 911 person and they said, stay in the car. Why did you get out of the car? It gives a motive for what he did. And the way he explains it may be persuasive to some some people.
It's interesting. I hear a lot of defense attorneys say, hey, I want to try to get to middle ground. I want to even it. Because, you know, the police always go out and talk and do interviews, and then prosecutors, we've charged, and make a big announcement. Does this even the playing field this one day? Is it even, or how does it work? What's next, you know?
I think that's exactly it. I think doing this tape, this videotape, for instance, is just trying to get a feel for where the public is with this case. Maybe they want to take it somewhere else. Maybe there needs to be an explanation, a further explanation of what occurred. This video could be testing what people are believing and what people are not believing.
It's interesting. I think right now, I don't know how many camps there are, but people are pretty entrenched. You know, some just want to wait till the fact. Some think he's guilty as heck. You know, does this stuff today change any minds? Does this particular tape change minds?
I think it could definitely give it could humanize him. It could give some people, wait, let me hear his side of the story. Let me see, he's saying self-defense. Why is he saying self-defense? What occurred in that fight? What made him do what he did?
And people people judge sincerity. I mean, big time. They look at a person, they want to judge the sincerity. And
absolutely.
They can look at him and see for themselves. I don't know how far this will go. We'll see what's coming next. All right, Mary, thank you very much for coming down. Interesting conversation.